Alright, so once again, this is just a part two to the previous video. Um, I talked about this word, uh, it looks like chi, it's actually kai, I believe, but, so the victims were actually from Delta Chi fraternity, and the shooter was a pledge at Sigma Chi. So I looked up Sigma Chi. Then the first thing that stood out to me, we've been seeing this number over and over, 239. It's the 239th year of the United States. Plutonium 239. It all ties into um, the Manhattan Project, nuclear weapons, Back to the Future. Plutonium is the gas. Tons of other things with it. 923. The Pope was here. I went to the White House at 923 on 923. But it says the fraternity has 239 active chapters in the United States. So, what are the odds of that? And it says that it was founded in Miami University in 1855, a number I talked about in the previous video dealing with Tyler Sash and whatnot and the Iowa Hawkeyes. But, um, yeah, it even ties into Miami Dolphins and all kinds of stuff. Nebraska and the Miami Hurricane game. But moving on here, look where the actual headquarters are. Evanston, Illinois. That's literally where Bill Murray's from. It's like a suburb of Chicago, even. I talked about in the previous video and tons of other previous videos. I've mentioned the Space Jam like what it all has to do with Space Jam. Bill Murray's in Space Jam. Michael Jordan. It's all about Chicago. It even says it's in Cook County. Like I said, I've been on this checking the county stuff. It's Cook County. Oh, I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, it was named after Daniel Cook. Interestingly, his middle name is Pope, and all of this all goes back to Pope Francis. We've talked about Pope Francis multiple times, but his name in gematria, Daniel Pope Cook. Let's type it in here. In simple gematria, Daniel Pope Cook, 141. So, I mean, literally, just another 239 reference, and then also another Chicago reference into all of this, so, or at least an Illinois reference. Also, this word here makes me think of this here, the Cairo or the Chiro. Interesting if it's pronounced Cairo in Egypt, but, or maybe Ro is not, I don't know. Whatever. Not going to worry about that right now, but I just wanted to point out, so this is the symbol supposedly supposed to represent the crucifixion of Jesus. What I find the most interesting about this is literally it's the X and the P, kind of like Windows XP, but also X24, P16, that adds up to 40. And Enter the Stars talked about how Jesus supposedly really died at the age of 40. That's why when you're 40, you're over the hill. He even made a video on, what was it? Oh, the 40-year-old virgin and how it all ties into this. So I found that pretty interesting, I guess, that the Chiro or whatever is XP, which adds up to 40. It also says here in Chinese here, it says that it's literally a dragon in Chinese mythology. And we talked about it's all to do with Philadelphia and Revelation. And literally, the dragon in Revelation. Although this says a hornless dragon, or a mountain demon. Which, interesting, this shooting happened at Mountain View Hall or something like that. So, thought that was kind of interesting. Who knows? But as I was scrolling down here, it literally talks about it here. The meanings, hornless dragon. In 239 BCE, so another 239 reference. And then it says Lucy whatever, quotes Confucius, blah blah blah. Let's see this guy here. Oh, I think I was just going to show the gematria of his name maybe. It's Lucy. Can't even remember. Lucy. Spell it. Chunqui. Which was 162. Just found that kind of interesting. I talked about a few of these 162s. Flagstaff, Arizona 162. Baseball game of the night, there's a decent amount of 162 coding. I don't even know. There was a few other ones. The first one, seriously, that I thought of the whole night was this. The song called that from Life is Peachy by Korn. Way back when I used to love Korn and blah, blah, blah. But, I don't know. I didn't even really look that much into it. I know the album cover creeps me out, but it says something about Chile is the IOC code, blah, blah, blah. And Santiago, Chile is where the earthquake that happened this year, the worst earthquake this year or whatever, and also the worst earthquake ever recorded was in 1960. It even mentions the Chicago stuff, interesting. It even has sports, it just talks about all the Chicago teams. So, I guess the last thing I want to talk about, because I can't even remember what all I was going to talk about. And I'm getting really tired. So, this guy right here, he was the 5th pick in the draft last year, and he played for Iowa, but he's also from a town that I live actually 19 miles away from. That's, wow, crazy now that I think about it. But what's interesting about this town is that there's a famous person from it, or it lists these famous people, and I remembered this guy right here, Jim Garrison. This is the guy who JFK played in the movie JFK or whatever. So we've talked about how it all ties into a possible Obama assassination. They're foreshadowing Abraham Lincoln. That's why I've mentioned so much stuff about Lincoln, Nebraska, and also JFK. I'm sure everyone has seen the mirrors and stuff on like Facebook. Even from, I mean, I've seen them like years ago to tell you the truth, but I've been seeing them a lot again on Facebook, the mirrors. Like Lincoln was killed in Ford's theater, and like JFK died in a Ford. They were both replaced by a Johnson. But I mean, look at when this guy died. He literally died on October 21st. That's the same day that Marty goes to the future in 2015 and Back to the Future. So who knows, I just find it interesting that Brandon Scherf would be drafted or whatever, and even plays. And then this guy actually is famous from the same town, Denison, Iowa. Just want to type in his name in Gematria, Jim Garrison. Go figure. 133, seen it tons of times lately. Pope Francis became the Pope on 13-3 or 3-13 of 2013. Even he adds up to 61. Even the Civil War began in 61. Obama was born in 61. Tons of other stuff with it. The word 34 adds up to 61. 34 is surrounded by Abraham Lincoln. Interesting, this guy, Kevin Costner portrayed him in the movie JFK. Kevin Costner is also in Dances with Wolves, that is all about the Civil War, also a Lupercalia reference. Field of Dreams, like all about baseball. I even talked about how this movie possibly had predicted the World Series this year of the Mets versus Yankees, which obviously didn't come true. But they predicted the 1989 World Series, that was for sure. Even Bull Durham, another baseball movie. He's in tons of movies like this. And I guess last thing I want to point out, I wanted to look at this university really quick, and I kind of just scrolled through here. A couple interesting things. It says it was initially named Northern Arizona Normal School, and it was established on September 11th, 1899. So interesting, 116 years ago. September 11th there's 111 days left until the end of the year, and it's even on 111 degrees west. When I scrolled way down to the bottom, I can't remember, I just kind of scrolled through here, and I seen the famous alumni or whatever, and the first one that just kind of stuck out to me, like Raul Hector Castro, and I thought of Fidel Castro and whatnot. And I just, whatever, only guy I even clicked on. And he just so happened to die this year on April 10th. He also died at the age of 98, which is interesting. 98 was coded with the Philadelphia train wreck a whole bunch. Also, it's been popping up a whole bunch again. I've talked about Queen Elizabeth being 89 years old. 8-9, there's 144 days left until the end of the year. The 221st day. 221 is the 52nd day. 52nd prime is 239. It's the 239th year. I know that sound of the United States. I know that sounds like a lot, but I've made so many previous videos on it. It sounds a lot worse than it really is. But anyway, it also says then, at the age of 98, he was the oldest living former United States governor, following the death of former Washington Governor Albert Rossellini, who just so happened to die on October 10th, like today, right? I mean, in 2011, but still, that's just some strange stuff. And also at the age of 101. 101, we just had the Oregon shooting that was on 10-1, and the school added up to 101. The shooter was 26 years old. 101 is the 26th prime. Philadelphia adds up to 101. But look what this guy was. He was the United States ambassador to Argentina. Pope Francis is from Argentina. I made a video a long time ago about all of the 923 significance to Argentina's history. 923 was like super significant with a lot of their first, whatever they are, leaders and whatnot. And he was even in office from November 16th, 1977 till July 30th, 1980. November 16th, I talked about this the other day, how it all ties into the Valentine's Day connection. There's 45 days left until the end of the year. Also, if you write it out like they would in England, it would be 16-11, kind of like 1611. Pope Francis came to the United States at 4:04 p.m. There's 404 verses in Revelation. Oh, man. 1611 was even 404 years ago. But he was appointed by Jimmy Carter even. After 2 years as governor, he was selected by President Jimmy Carter to be ambassador to Argentina. Interesting, because Jimmy Carter, I just said, just turned 91 with 91 days left until the end of the year, and it just so happened to be the day of the Roseburg shooting. And I said that Jimmy Carter was 111 days younger than George Bush, and they were both 91 years old this year, and George Bush was born on June 12th, and this guy was also born on June 12th, so just kind of interesting stuff. Anyway, I gotta go to bed, so I just wanted to point out these guys' names in Gematria: Raul Hector Castro and Albert Rossellini. Interesting. Raul Hector Castro, 71. Albert Rossellini, 171. I mean, what are the odds of that? But, yep, have a good night.